This is A Dose of Ketchup by Navitas.
The person that I'm talking.
Ay! Okay!
He gets to keep his job.
Wow. A Dose of Ketchup is here to bring you meaningful conversations that can equip, inspire, and perhaps even challenge you to try out new things. Hello, I'm Melvin, and I'll be your companion in the next minutes. This is A Dose of Ketchup's first episode, Sali, Laro tayo, Part 2. With play in mind, our friends from Navitas share how they see math and art differently.
I actually have the same question for all of the program directors. Number one, what led you to Navitas? So, anong storya nyo? Since again, we're talking about play, how do you define play? Maybe in your personal context or in your professional context, what is play to you?
Ang play mo ba word problems lang?
And then, how do you invite play in your own respective programs?
Let's listen to the program director for Math is Not the Villain, Teacher Sachin.
Yung pandemic time led a lot of people to a tipping point because all of us were adjusting to everything. So it's like the system placed me more in a box. Like there's a laptop, there's a screen, and we're all in a box. So I think that set up nag-tipping point siya sa heart ko, sa mind ko, sa brain ko. Because for the longest time, I always like math to be something that children will enjoy because I enjoy math. You were right when you mentioned it. When I'm stressed, I solve problems. It makes me... Sorry. I look for puzzles. So for me, it's fun. And then why is it that many people get stressed by math?
Sige nga, I get to ask her this question for the first time. When she messaged me, she just said, Teacher Alo, I want to join you. And then I remember telling her, but I don't even know yet where I'm going. Parang I just know I'm entering another chapter, but it's not yet defined. It's not a clear category. So wala pa. Ba, anong common natin? Ba't ka sasama sa akin? Mahilig din ako mag-play.
I saw from she has curiosity and all those projects, and yung idea na alam mong hindi box. Alam kong it will be different style. I was willing to go that path because of the thought na there will be more freedom. I don't know. I think that thought.
Can you talk about your Math is Not a Villain?
For the majority, math has always been like, if you mention math, it's either they have a traumatic experience or it's either they don't like it. I believe that all of us are capable of learning math. Somebody phrased it well. It's not math. It's how we were made to feel when we were learning that. That means it's more on your experience. The moment you don't feel good in a learning environment, you don't already like that. It's not basically the subject. It's
I liken that to play or games, yung mga larong kalye nga nung bata tayo. Mahirap din naman, di ba? Mahirap maghanap ng mga nagtatago, lalo na kung hanggang 2 kanto yung di ba? Tapos mag-isa ka lang, tapos may base kang ginagwardyan, binabantayan, or patintero, or kung ano pa man. Pero pag associated with good feelings, happy feelings,
yes,
or you're together, okay lang sa'yo. So, what you're saying is not because something is hard, does it mean ayaw mo? It's the feelings.
We like something that's challenging, diba? And we have that feeling of, parang may chemicals sumalabas pag may na-achieve ka. But if in and then you even look for it, you get bored if it's you leave something if it's too boring, it's too easy. But it's actually how you feel when you're learning something. And most of the time, in a math class, or even with a child parent, the child is trying to learn math, the adult gets impatient, so on. So it's the messages around.
So, Teacher
the learner.
Sachin, you're okay with the idea na in math, yung mga bata, we're talking of young children, hindi ito yung mga magiging astronauts or pilots na kailangan talaga meron silang ipasang standards. Parang math is usually associated with you're only good at it if you're top 1 or top 2. So even if you're not the best, that's okay.
When we say the best in math, define best first. Is it best in computing? Math is bigger than that. Math is thinking, math is connecting ideas, math is you get this given, you get this given, you get this problem. How do you connect? Astronauts, engineers, architects, they are very good in what they do because they are good in solving problems.
If this kind of math aligns with you, connect with Teacher Sachin on Instagram at mnv_by Navitas.
Are there ways to invite both play and comprehension? Ano yung mga little steps na pwede nilang gawin sa bahay? When I say play, hindi naman lalabas sila ng bahay, magpapatintero, but maybe the vibe, maybe the feelings also associated with play. So, what can parents do to make math friendlier, a bit more playful, but at the same time, mas naiintindihan?
Play for me in math or in my life is more on if you're doing something and the expectation is only to be right, to be correct. That's not play. That's not play. That's why it's play because discovery.
Process.
Walang bata na may brain na not capable of learning math. Math brains are not born, they're grown. So, one, ang environment niya, learning environment, hindi siya judge. And then, the mistake, it's not about, I want to make a mistake, but more on, if I make a mistake, it's a learning point. So, for parents, sometimes we impose how we think on the children. And even if anak mo siya, you may think differently. Your child sees a different way. Understanding how they think. And then if they see that they're safe with you, with the environment, they're willing to explain because you said it this way.
Sometimes it's a trap. Yung ganito naturo sa akin, ganito ko rin tuturo sa'yo. It worked for me. Naka-graduate ako ng college. It should work for you. Tested na ito. I got my diploma, diba? Tested rin ito. But actually, what you'd always say, kahit na anak mo pa, our brains are already wired differently. So, at maraming ways sa math. Parang destination yan. Hindi kailangan isa lang yung daan.
Yung maraming ways to solving a math problem, we call that in math flexibility.
Flexibility.
Flexibility. Like, not all problems can be solved this way.
You mentioned clearly malaking factor yung parents. How about
Environment.
teacher? Environment.
Which will include the teacher.
The teacher Sachin, I can't wait for a podcast that's solely devoted to math is not the villain. Yee! By the way, teacher Sachin also took her master's in math and was in the classroom for a long time. So, lahat naman ng teachers may room for growth. Saan pa pwedeng mag-improve as teacher? Jack has inquired. Let's talk about your own enlightenment. Ano yung parang feeling mo dito ka nag-adjust little by little?
I remember I was the villain to the students in the classroom when
Mag-sorry ka na.
when I thought everyone can learn math this way. Ini-impose ko yung method ko. Kasi yung training ko, teaching college. When I taught in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, that's when I encountered lahat ng mga bata excited. Walang bata from grade 1 to grade 3 so far na hates math. They all are excited for math. They all are excited to share their ideas. Maybe when you go to grade 4, grade 5, the math concepts become complex. And of course, it gets difficult for the teacher. You have one whole class with 20, 30 different brains. But it helped a lot when I got that enlightenment na each one is capable. I always believe each child is very smart. When they keep making a mistake, I call them, can you show me how you think? Say it aloud while you're doing this. And it's so enlightening. Oh, may nasabi ako na dun siya naglalat. So, I correct myself when I say this. Kinakapture pala nila dati. Parang nagiging gospel truth. And then, because you said subtract the smaller from the bigger. So, kahit subtraction, 91 minus 25.
They start listening more to an external source, which is not bad, not necessarily wrong. Instead of also sensing yung parang how do they think, being aware of how they think.
And from there, I think yung enlightenment na yan, I search for different workshops, seminars to help me understand more how children think, how the brain works, things like that.
As a Navitas person, I just want to say this. If your child or if you as a young adult, you've already found your math match, naks, parang partner, your match, kunyari this works for you, then we're happy for you, diba? So if a certain model in math already works for your child, then we're happy for you. We're talking about those who have yet to find that pathway, that match. Yun na nga, kala natin nun there's only one way of learning math, tapos may mga iba-iba ng labels. But actually, the first step is really for your child to develop ano yung math pathway niya. Find ways to supplement healthy math in their lives. So really, you can contact Teacher Sachin. Please try it out. Please try out a few sessions. Allow your child to experience math differently.
Connect with Teacher Sachin on Instagram at MNV_by Navitas. We would like to invite you to follow our digital accounts. Please follow Navitas Haus on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. You can also access this podcast through the Navitas YouTube channel. Please subscribe to @Navitas_House. For updates and highlights, kindly follow us on Instagram @adoseofketchup_by Navitas. Up next is the Program Director for Auntie's Art Nest, Teacher Sarah.
During the pandemic, and that time I had to say goodbye to a previous job which I loved so much. I was an art teacher in that school and I really loved every bit of my work for almost 15 years. But during the pandemic kasi, I was going through my own transitions also in life. I got married, became a mom and all that. It was a period of uncertainty, right? So ang dami pang hindi ko pa malaman kung titigil ba yung pandemic. And at that time, I did not see any future in classroom teaching anymore. I felt that the kids, the students, could not connect with the teachers as much as they could in the physical setup, classroom setup. So that was the main thing actually. When I heard about Navitas, as an idea, it struck me as a place where I could really freely create. The main thing was I knew Teacher Ella, we've been friends. She's been my mentor for quite some time, and I knew that it was a place that would welcome a lot of creative play. The main thing for me is space for play, space for creativity, space for creative touches. Siguro, it traces back to my childhood kasi lumaki nga ako sa imprenta. Imprenta kasi namin, it was in the ground floor of my grandparents' house. So we would be woken up by the sound of the printing press.
Anong tunog? Makinarya.
Makinarya siya. And these are big machines. So letter presses, offset, etc. My favorite place was the stock room. So since, of course, it involved a lot of paper, we had like maybe 5 big rooms of paper stocks. Yung mga stationary stocks, yung iba yung buong papel, di pa natabas and all that. And I would literally go there and look for yung mga retaso. Kasi may mga papel na matagal na nagkakaroon sila ng konting discoloration. And I'll pull it out of the shelf and ask my aunt kung pwede ko, akin na lang siya. And
Ang yaman mo sa papel.
ang dami ng papel. So these are really nice, like paper na may mga ano na siya, may embossed na siya and all that. Kumbaga.
Anong
And
ginagawa mo dun sa mga...
yun, that's when I
Retaso.
started doing like my own crafts.
Collage.
And drawings and a lot of the art that I did when I was a
Ilang
little
taon ka
girl.
nun? How old were you?
Siguro 6, mga ganyan. 6, and throughout my teenage years, it has always been that way. Not just for me, my siblings too, my cousins were, kumbaga, that was our literally our playground. And of course, may mga crates from deliveries, ng mga tinta, ng mga papel, and that became like really a platform for a lot of like imaginative play.
Did anybody tell you what to do, or you were left on your own to
We were left
discover
on
what
our
gives you
own.
satisfaction?
We were left on our own. Actually, dun din nagla-latch on yung my idea, my personal definition of play, which is you get to really tap onto it if you don't have a lot of evidence. If you can probably say na parang, for example, you're in the kitchen and you don't have a lot of ingredients, that's when you actually sometimes come up with the best, idea. And you can whip up egg in so many different ways. So, just a single ingredient. And yun lang din siya. As a little girl, it was always like that for me. Like in a stock room of crates or in a stock room with tiles of mga retaso.
How does your childhood translate now to your own philosophy as an artist and as someone running Aunties Artness in Navitas?
It's the same. For me, when you have so many things, it's stifling. I cannot
But like
breathe.
that, sometimes the more you have, it's limiting.
Yeah, like for example, when I have so many options, so many materials, parang nawawala ako. But when I have just the basic stuff, I have more space to move and to create. And it's the same like when I do like a digital drawing, I'm not the type to download like hundreds of preset brushes. I tend to gravitate towards like the same set of brushes that I have always used. Ganon. So it really is not dependent on the tool or the object or on the furniture, but it's in the mind. It's in your vision for it.
Same thing with play. Minsan yung tsinelas lang gamit nyo, ang dami nyo nang maiisip.
Yeah.
Or yung goma lang, ang dami nyo nang pwedeng magawa.
Actually, yung anak ko, wala pa siyang 1. Everything that was gifted to her, toys that were given her, toys that we bought for her, hindi niya talaga pinapansin. So it was always packaging boxes, mga pieces of paper, things that are not, what we label as toys that she liked. So I don't know. I think, and I found out that many babies are actually like that.
Hindi yung parang perfectly manufactured toys yung gusto nila
Hindi nila
kagad.
gusto yung nakabox na may kulay, na parang, something that we actually label as toy from the toy store. That's not what they pick. With my baby, if I let her pick like toys, toy from a toy store, maybe a small carton box or some pieces of paper, she'd probably choose the box or the pieces of paper, most likely over the store-bought toy. Everyone, is born with a certain, set of gifts. So, sa art, ganun din. And some are, perhaps, a certain group of people, it would be more instinctive, intuitive. Parang it just comes out, flows more naturally compared to others. And of course, there is always that. But the need to create and the ability to create, I guess it's the same for all of us. Yeah, the opportunity to create, we can always look for that. And we need that. We need to create. We need to produce something. It's I'd like to argue it's something that we are really wired with.
Bakit? Ano bang nangyayari when we create? Kunwari, simple collage.
I think
Anong
it's
nangyayari sa atin
the
when we
creative
create?
stillness that we're able to experience. Yeah, so I'm not saying like art is only when you do something that is on a piece of canvas or on a sheet of paper. It can be like designing your room.
Designing your
It
room.
can be, fixing your shelves. Of course, it translates to many other things, right? That's why art is such a broad word, right, to use. And it covers a lot of interests and areas in our lives. And when you engage in that, you can't explain this. Some people call it flow, right? But it's actually, that stillness is something that we need.
I like traveling with Teacher Sarah. We've been to Indonesia together, Thailand, Luang Prabang, saan pa ba? Singapore. Anyway, I'm mentioning this because pagka may tinitingnan kami sa isang store at hindi ito yung mga stores sa malls, marami siyang mapapansin na hindi ko mapapansin. Tapos sasabi niya, Teacher Elo, look at the print. It's so dainty. Tapos parang, oo nga. Pero actually, hindi ko nakita. In other words, even as a grown-up, my eyes were not trained to notice the things that she would notice. Whether it's the fabric or yung papel, ang ganda daw ng GSM. Sasabihin niya kung anong GSM yun, kaya niyang i-estimate. Or sasabihin niya why she's drawn to that visual, to that poster na hindi ko mapapansin. So, of course, if you go with people like her, eventually you develop the same skill or same set of eyes. So, yun lang, she really has it. Well, I'm the one inviting you, but Teacher Sarah is in the process of fixing her own space right here in Navitas House. It's in Curiosity, second floor. So she's preparing it to be part art studio, Wonder and Art Studio. So visit her if you want to have your art and wine sessions with family, with friends, with balikbayan friends.
Connect with Teacher Sarah on Instagram at auntiesartnest_by Navitas. For more stories and insights from our guests, don't miss part 3 of this episode. Follow Navitas Haus on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to see you again next time for A Dose of Catch Up.